I'm ThatOrganicMom, and today we're going to take you on a nature walk, the first one of 2016. Are you ready? Let's go.
Are you ready to go on a nature walk? It's going to be super fun. There's some goop coming out of the tree. It's tree sap. And it's now founded with my cat nose. Doesn't smell too good.
Ugh, doesn't smell too good at all. We should collect some.
Depending on where you choose to take your nature walk, you never know what you might find. Today we came across this interesting man-made shelter in the park. A lot of my nature walks are pretty laid back as far as teaching goes, but sometimes I do a little research in advance so I can come up with some educational points to discuss. Doesn't have to be super complicated with younger kids, and even with older kids it's fun to sometimes let them teach you. You could discuss what biomes are and identify the type of biome you're currently walking in. Tennessee is considered a deciduous forest biome.
Safe.
Let's observe this.
This could be a perch for a bird, maybe.
It's just another part of a tree that grew out.
Yeah.
What is growing on the side of the tree, though?
I don't know, a
Moss?
stump.
Moss.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this.
Do you know if anything lives in the moss?
Microorganisms.
Yes. In a moment like this, you can discuss the moss's role in ecosystems and how they capture energy and make this energy available to other organisms in the food web. You could discuss how mosses absorb water quickly, yet release it slowly, and also about moss-dwelling animals and organisms and how they interact. It's important to let the kids have some fun. Things like boat races, stick collecting, skipping rocks. Those are all wonderful activities that I do like to let my kids do these things first, and then we take a rest and have a chat and talk about what's going on in the environment. Additionally, outdoor play is really good for kids. It helps them to burn off a lot of energy and calories, which helps to prevent obesity. And I just feel like recess and outdoor time is really important. It also contributes to learning in various ways, and it just has a lot more to offer than just physical benefits. The Tennessee River runs alongside the park where we're exploring today. So if you're near a river, stream, or a body of water, you can look at a map to identify the river and talk about, map skills. You can also discuss the various ecosystems and habitats in the area where you're exploring. Today we took a few minutes to sit down and sketch the scene around us. I like to take sketchbooks with blank pages so they can draw sketches and add leaf samples, bark rubbings, and other things. This area we found is called the geological fold. During our nature walk, I took the time to discuss geology with my kids by explaining that a geological fold is just basically where a stack of originally flat surfaces folded into a different shape without fracturing the plates. And that another great example of this would be, for example, the Grand Canyon or even the Swiss Alps. So we went into a little bit of detail about the various types of folds, or you could even talk about rock layers, just depending on your child's age and interests. Some other things to observe when you're in a rocky area are the different types of rocks and the symmetry of the rocks, and you can just find all kinds of little creatures living there. So if you have a magnifying glass, that's always fun. Often there's moss growing on the rocks and just various little plant life that you can get a look at up close, and if it's not against the rules where you're at, you can even take some samples of the soil, or if you find a particular leaf or just a sample of the rock that they really like. But you can go back and talk about these things later, look at them and observe them. Extending along this rocky section of cliffs that's next to the Tennessee River, there's this great boardwalk where people can enjoy the view and observe wildlife. And sometimes not wildlife. We actually saw a lady walking her domesticated cat here on a leash, which was interesting. But we talked about the Tennessee River wildlife and birds that live nearby. We tried to name what types of animals live on or near the river and discuss what they eat, what they use for shelter. And because it's a great place to look for shoreline birds and other wildlife, even in the winter, we spent some time just observing this area. If you're really adventurous, you can collect some water samples and check them out when you get back home if you have a microscope or other tools. Even though this cave was gated to protect the native wildlife, we still tried to observe what might be inside. We're trying to see a little brown bat because we've been studying these this week in science. It's the home of a little brown bat and cave salamanders. So we're looking, trying to find one. I see it.
That looks like the base of the dam, and they're going to continue on, right?
It does kind of. So we're on the lookout for muskrats, beavers, and river otters.
And that looks like a beaver dam.
But you know why we're probably not going to see them right now?
Because we're here.
It's probably hibernating.
Well, one, it's winter, and two, they're nocturnal. So that means they're like, raccoons and muskrats and river otters.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not necessarily river otters, but a lot of them are nocturnal. Chipmunks and gray squirrels are active during the day and at night. And you might come across a fox? Or a weasel. Because they come to the shorelines looking for food and they have to get water. And then they might be looking for a snack like crawdads. We would take a bark rubbing of this walnut tree, but it is actually has some poison ivy on it, so we'll have to find another one. But this is a black walnut.
It's called a flowering dogwood, but I'm going to call it flowering catwood because I like flowering catwood. Cats
You like
better.
cats better? Okay. So you're doing a tree rubbing, right? Let me help you hold it. Maybe turn it the other way. Turn the crayon. Yeah, there you go. Now try it.
Pretty good.
Gonna get a bark pattern here. Yeah, you're doing really good.
It's hard.
Can you hold the other side of the paper? Can you hold this side too and let me try? Don't move it. Okay, take it off and let's see it. Hold the paper down here. Nice. How nature keeps everything in balance.
Oh, I know. Like, listen, the bird poops, the worm eats the poop, the bird eats the worm, the cat eats the bird. That's the balance of nature because a fox would kill a rabbit, and other rabbits would reproduce, and that's what keeps them in balance.
So it's basically like how the red-shouldered hawk and the barred owl both hunt in a wood habitat like the one that we're in right now, and they both eat cold-blooded animals like crayfish, frogs, snakes, and insects, and sometimes mice or chipmunks. But the way that it works out, the hawk hunts during the day and the owls hunt at night. So they're not like competing with each other, and it keeps a balance. Let me ask you another question. How does the oxygen cycle demonstrate the balance of nature?
Well, animals or humans breathe in oxygen, and breathe in oxygen, and then they breathe out carbon dioxide. The plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out the oxygen, and then it's a cycle.
All I knew is that the trees made air. Trees made air.
Trees equal oxygen.
Yeah.
While we were in this area, we discussed the different types of algae and also like what grows in this type of body of water. We also discussed how it would look different in the different seasons of the year. Since it's winter and this was the first semi-warm day, it was in February, so we were just observing this and discussing how it would be changing as spring approaches. There's lots of different types of nature walks you could go on. You could try to see how many different types of seeds you can locate. You could take a nature walk at night or a moon walk and observe the phases of the moon. Or you could take a nature walk and try to identify as many types of flowers or berries. Sometimes we look for fallen logs to look under and observe, and sometimes we look for rocks to check out what's underneath. And always at the end of my nature walks, I ask the kids what was their favorite part and what they learned.
You can take or draw pictures of whatever you see, and you can touch things to see what they feel like and look at moss. Well, you can touch it as long as it's not poison ivy or something. And boat races if there's water. And you can do more, but I can't name it all.
Boat races?
Boat races, remember? You put like a little stick in the water and it goes jump to me, see whose stick goes first.
Well, whenever I see an animal, I usually take a picture and study them and see what they look like and try and figure out their names, or if I know what their name is, or find a sign that has their name. And I like to see things like this, or little cracks and crevices where you can see things like bats, like we just did, and salamanders.
Do you know what that is behind you?
Moss with a rock.
What kind of rock? Do you know what kind of rock that is?
Nope.
It's a bedrock. That's where you can sleep if you want to sleep on a rock.